Welcome officially to Wildly Simple Eating for Immune Resilience. Let me find out from you. How do you define immune resilience? What does it mean to you in your life? Now, a lot of people are concerned about immune health right now. I don't know if any of you heard there was sort of this virus that was circulating. People were a little bit concerned about it. Anyone hear about this? So immune health has been top of mind for a lot of us for several years now, because our best defense against all the things that circulate in our environment, and also just the things that come up when we are run down or when we're dealing with inflammation. Immune resilience is the foundation where our body is set up to self-heal. And when you have immune resilience, here's where the magic is. The magic is that you don't even know it's working. The idea is that you build up these stores, you build up the, let's say, deposits in that immune bank account, so that when you encounter viruses, pathogens, bacteria, things that could potentially take you down, make you feel ill, or cause lengthy illness, you either don't even know you were exposed to it because your immune system is doing its job and you just don't get sick, or you might feel fatigued for a couple days and then you feel better without experiencing any extreme symptoms, or you get symptoms, but you recover quicker and you recover and can get back into your life. And that is one of the things that makes immune resilience so powerful. So for those of you here early, and you are eligible to win, if you're watching live, a spot in the honorary level of the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program, this is the skill testing question that I will be answering later today. And this is the question. What happened to me in the kitchen this morning that has never happened to me before in my life? That's the question. Stay tuned for the answer. Quick fingers will win. Okay, so we're talking immune resilience, and we are going to start. We're making three things today. We're making a soup, we're making some nuts, and we're making an amazing autumn dessert. If you're in Australia, sorry, Colombia, no, you're going into summer right now. Whatever, it's still good. If you have an apple around, it's still good. The key that I wanted to do for today's workshop was focus on ingredients that you've heard of before. So we're not using anything weird, or it might be out of ordinary. Obviously, food prices are going up, and I want you to understand how you can use everyday ingredients to maximize their health. And what's really powerful about immune resilience is that when you start to load your diet, load every meal, everything you're eating with the ingredients that support immune health, you don't even have to think about it. It's like all the other stuff that depletes it just goes away. So let me ask you, I'm going to first do something. You know what? I'm going to just use some of this because it's ready. There's a very, very ancient YouTube video of me doing this, where what you don't see in that video is that I nearly choke. This is my favorite powerful remedy. We have here Boydo's Bees Honey. This is from our very own Kelsey's father's apiary. He's a beekeeper. He's our favorite beekeeper. So we've got raw, unpasteurized, beautifully rich, B vitamin rich, enzyme rich. Enzyme are the worker bees in the body. The B vitamins fuel the mitochondria, the energy source of our cells. And honey naturally has antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral properties. And here is a fun fact for you. Honey is the only food on the planet that will never go bad. It has no expiry date. It will crystallize over time, but that's fine. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of honey, just like that. Oh, Kelsey, this is a beautiful liquidy honey. And I'm going to put on it some fresh chopped garlic. Raw garlic, just like that. A spoonful of honey helps the medicine go down, friends. If you feel, I'm now licking raw garlic off my hands. I'm going to be a real treat at dinner tonight. Okay, so really hygienic in here, but I'm the one eating the food. Oh, I think I need an extra towel. But honey, garlic, antimicrobial, antiviral. Garlic is nature's antibiotic. It's about to drip. That must have been a really cute moment. Here's what we're gonna do. Spoonful, right? Like that. You know what this is doing to the white blood cells in my body? They're going, That's what's happening right now. We have just upregulated the function. We've got antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, all of that in that sweet little combination. Whew. Now, as I mentioned, honey never goes bad. So what you could also do is mix a bunch of chopped garlic into the honey, set it aside, and just take a spoonful of it if you feel like you're coming down with something. And a little bit of warm water is often helpful if your honey's thicker. So that wasn't on the recipe list. You just have to remember that one. So how is that for a quick remedy? All right. I'm just looking to see. I have no idea what you guys are talking about in the chat, so not going to concern myself with it just yet. We're going to make our first recipe. Now, here's another fun fact about this recipe. When I first started, does anyone know when I first started doing this? I was very young, had a lot of energy way back then. It was in 2008. And in 2008, I created some business cards for myself with the one recipe I knew how to make that I felt like was my own. And that was carrot ginger soup. And that is what we're making today because it's delicious, it's easy, and it is packed with nutrient-dense, immune-resilient, supportive ingredients. Now, tell me in the chat, what is one zero-cost lifestyle strategy that will support immune health? Give me your favorite in the chat. What I'm doing while you put that into the chat, and I know it's going to go really fast because there's hundreds of you here. My, oh my. Seems like this topic was of interest. All right. I can't even read this chat. I'm just going to add a little bit of avocado oil, just like that. So I like avocado oil for high heat cooking. This is a induction cooktop, so it gets hot really fast. I'm going to try not to burn anything. Here is some pungent onion that has been smelling up my world for the last 3 hours, chopped. Again, onion also has a lot of the same antimicrobial, antiviral properties of garlic. So we love using fresh onion. Again, I chopped it in advance. And what's really nice when you make anything, here's your little culinary tip, is you do what the fancy chefs call your mise en place. That's French for stuff in its place. I don't know. There's public school French for you. But so then when you're actually cooking like I'm doing now, it all is quite easy to do. So I'm just mixing up that onion. I'll give you a glance at my overhead camera. Just kidding, I don't have one. In the Culinary Nutrition Expert program, though, we went all out and we've got all different kinds of camera angles for our cooking demos in that program. I'm going to add to it some garlic. Let me tell you, my bench today, it is aromatic. And then we're going to add, so in the recipe sheet that you all should have received, here's my black and white version. On the side, I'm going to just turn this down a little bit. On the side, there's a few additional add-ons you can do to up the immune power of the recipe. You could swap the water for broth. You can add lemon zest, which we're going to do, which has bioflavonoids in it. So in the rind of most citrus, all citrus really, there's something called bioflavonoids, which is basically like, if you think of free radicals as the little fire that runs around your cells, making pockmarks on your arteries and making you age and your skin wrinkle and sun damage and all that stuff, all free radicals, stress, lack of sleep. Bioflavonoids are like cold buckets of water on those fiery little free radicals. So we love to include them wherever we can. So you can add some lemon rind. We're going to add to our soup, obviously the ginger. So when we were prepping, Jen said, should I peel the ginger? I said, nah, just give it a scrub. So who has time to peel ginger? Not me, not even when I'm cooking without a live audience of hundreds from around the world. So I'm just cutting it up, not perfectly because we are going to be pureeing this. And so what's nice is that with a puree, you don't need to be as perfect with your slices. I'm making this extra gingery. So ginger also has some really powerful benefits. It supports digestive fire. So it helps support digestive health, helping you to break down what you eat, break down and assimilate what you eat. It also, this is more than the recipe calls for, but we're going wild today. So I've got some ginger going in, and ginger is also wonderful as an anti-nauseant. So anyone prone to nausea like me, I'm a real treat to travel with. I'm also going to add this extra beautiful, who knows what that is? Come on, Seanies, don't let me down. And what is the name of the active component in this root? Let's see who gets it. We got some curcumin coming up. I'm curious from way back. Okay, I'm looking at what you all said were your zero cost immune resilience strategies. I saw walk in nature, sleep, rest, yoga. What I'm getting here, stress reduction. Our deep rest states is where healing happens. So if you can do that deep rest state consciously, meaning in meditation or in yoga, that's helpful. You need your deep sleep, getting to sleep early. There's power in the sleep hours you get before midnight. We're adding turmeric in, which will also give our soup an extra powerful orange color. If you're concerned about turmeric turning your blender orange, which it will, my first advice is don't worry about it because blenders are meant to be used, not showpieces on your counter. But we've had lots of people have success cleaning it up with baking soda or just leaving it out in the sun because, as someone else mentioned, sun is also not just powerful for immune resilience, but it's an antibacterial agent. It cleans things. So we've got all that in. I'm going to just give all this a little, turn it back up, give it a little stir. So I'm just getting all of this fragrant. Don't need to cook it fully. Were I not doing this in front of all of you, I would give it a little bit longer. But for the sake of today, we're just getting it. You guys have smell-o-vision? Can you smell the goodness? So good. So that active component in turmeric is called curcumin. What does it do in the body? Do you know? Those of you watching the replay, do you know? It is a potent, I see the chat flying. I see the chat flying. You guys are brilliant. Brilliant folks. I have to tell you, I've been doing this a long time, almost 15 years. And the base level of knowledge of everyday folks, like all of us, is so much higher than it used to be, which gives me so much hope. There's also a lot that's being ignored, which gives me work to do, right? There's the plus side. It allows me to keep doing what I do. So studies have shown that curcumin is as potent, powerful, effective as non-steroidal anti-inflammatories in bringing down inflammation. Now, if you combine doses, getting turmeric in, or even supplementing curcumin if you need a therapeutic benefit, and also eliminating the things that suppress immune function, the value is greater than the sum of its parts. So let me ask you all this, my live viewers can chime in the chat. What are some of the things that negatively impact immune health? And how many of them are you doing on a regular basis? So I've just added our beautiful carrots. Now, if you don't have carrots or you want to mix this up, do sweet potatoes. You can add sweet potatoes to this. You can actually add just about any vegetable. I'm adding about 4 cups of water into the pot. And I like to do it it's about 4 cups, just so that the carrots are covered, because I want my soup to be thick and rich and creamy. I'm going to zest in my lemon. So I'm just using a box grater to do this really quickly and easily. So we're getting those bioflavonoids in. So again, tell me, friends, what are the things in your life that I'm changing the question on you, that you know you need to stop doing that is impacting your immune system? Tell me. I'm going to check in the chat while Jen moves this soup off to the side. So you wish you had someone in your kitchen that you're just like, and I'm done with that. And then they move on. Sorry, that was a little bit loud. So I'm happy to have that off. Here's the lid for you. And she did that so gracefully. I'm not having a graceful day at all. I'll share that with you shortly. Okay, so here's what I am seeing in the chat about the things that negatively impact immune health. Staying up late, sugar and sleeping late, low vitamin D, too much yang, staying up late, stress and poor sleep, eating potato chips and ice cream, lack of exercise, anger, bad thoughts, not living in the moment. So everything that I am seeing here, alcohol, yes, are things that are either free to resolve or save you money to resolve, like in the case of alcohol. So what are we going to do? I want everyone now, whatever you put in the chat just there, and everyone at home, whatever came into your mind about the thing you know you're doing that is impacting your immune resilience, you're going to stop doing it. If you have pen and paper, I would love for you to write today's date, your name. I am going to stop, or even better, here's the phrase you're going to use. Here's the phrase you're going to use whenever you make a change to your diet or lifestyle. It's that I don't eat sugar. I don't stay up late. I don't mindlessly scroll on my phone when I know that I should be going to sleep. I don't consume alcohol. What if you wrote out that statement, sign your name, and that's your contract to yourself? And I will tell you something. I made this contract to myself. Oh my gosh, nearly 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, in March 2019, I said, I don't consume sugar or added sweetener. And that honey that I just had is probably the most honey I've had on its own in that length of time, because I made that commitment. I wasn't feeling well. At that point, my son was 2.5. I hadn't been exercising regularly. I wasn't sleeping well, and I needed to get back on track. And so I committed to going to sleep early, to not consuming any sugar or sweets, to exercising regularly. And I've committed to that. That is who I am. And here's what's interesting about that. My tastes changed. And I've been doing this a long time, right? I've been doing this since 2008. I'd gotten off processed food and processed candy and all that kind of stuff. But I was still eating like chocolate, like organic, fair trade from the health food store chocolate. I was still eating a lot of baked goods that were homemade, but still coconut sugar, maple syrup. And I just stopped, and I no longer have a desire for them at all. And it's remarkable how that happens. And I should have saved the story for the dessert part of our class, but I'll share with you a wonderful recipe that can help you do this. So here's another tip. Here where I live in Toronto, this coming weekend, we set the clocks back, right? 10 o'clock becomes 9 o'clock, or does 9 o'clock I don't know. All I'm going to suggest is when the clocks change, start going to bed an hour earlier. Just don't change your clocks. That's it. What if that happened? What is it that you are doing that's so important in the last hour of your day that is more important than getting the deep, deep, deep rest that we are all critically deprived of, right? Nothing. Okay. So there it is. All right. We are going to clear this off. We don't have a commercial break today. So we're just going to move some things around, and we're going to make our nuts. So I don't know that I need too much for that. We will move this over. All right. Any questions that I can answer in the chat? I think I have to just change my speaker for a moment so that I can hear. Okay. So, Sandy, are you able to share if there's any questions?
Yeah, so a bunch of people were asking that you added turmeric into your soup, but you did not add any black pepper.
Oh, yeah, it's not real. Doesn't really make a difference. I know there's research around it, but there was like one weird study quite a long time ago that kind of caught on, and I don't remember it. I don't remember the details of it because I'm not Josh. You guys know my husband. Are you familiar with him? Where he's like, I've got a study. I read it 85 years ago and I know it word for word. And here's the journal number and it's in the third paragraph. I don't have that brain. But if you're still like, no, I want the black pepper in there so I can maximize the turmeric absorption, go for it. I'm allergic to black pepper, so I don't use it. In Ital cooking, sort of traditional Rastafarian cooking, they don't use black pepper. With the belief that there is a digestive irritant component to it. There might be another reason, but that's what I believe is the reason. Someone here probably knows for sure why. So there you go. All right, we're moving on to our next recipe. This is a delicious one. I just realized the time. It might be done by the time we're ready, might not be. How many of you buy packaged, roasted, salted, flavored, whatever nuts in the store? Nuts have become like the caviar of health food in that they are an investment right? You remortgage your house to get a bag of organic almonds. So how do we make these the most delicious, the most healthful? One step you can take is to soak them and dehydrate them or slowly cool them in your oven or slowly warm them in your oven to dry them out. So it'd be like the lowest oven setting for 6 to 8 hours, or in your dehydrator around 110 degrees. So that's one way. The other way is to not buy those garbage nuts covered in like canola oil, rapeseed oil, or other kinds of vegetable oils, roasted at too high temperatures, covered in bad quality spices and seasonings. What I wanted to do is offer you a really good snack that can replace potato chips. And what's nice about nuts and seeds is that you feel satiated faster, and they don't have the chemical makeup of the oil, salt in such intense ratios that kind of causes them to become completely addictive, where you can't stop eating them once you start. So the idea with immune resilience is not to be, I mean, we can do full-on super immunity. That's another class. This is how we start to incorporate those little deposits into the immune account every snack, every meal, every day, and it just becomes part of our lifestyle, right? You can get behind that. And something that is so big and important with the Academy of Culinary Nutrition and what we teach in our 14-week certification program is this idea that really healthy food that is good for the individual, that is delicious, is also simple to make, right? We need it to be easy or no one is going to play along. So what I'm doing here, you take 3 cups of your favorite nut and seed combination. I'm using almonds, I'm using pecans, and I'm using pumpkin seeds. You should all have lots of pumpkin seeds. I heard a horrific statistic today about how much pumpkin's grown and then discarded after Halloween. I tell you. So we've got that in there. I'm going to just give this a little stir. This is really, aren't you glad you showed up to watch me stir some dry nuts in a bowl? We're going to add all our avocado oil. And you can add a little bit of starch, like an arrowroot starch if you want, which I think will help the nuts, help the spices stick to the nuts. And I gave you 3 different spice combinations, but if you have any others, by all means, go for it. If you have the Undiet Cookbook, there's a great taco seasoning in there. So use your favorite sort of dry rub or dry spice mix and do it in here. Don't tell me you love pumpkin spice. I know everyone loves pumpkin spice. I despise pumpkin spice, but for all of you, because I love you, I gave you a pumpkin spice. So if you want to do pumpkin spice nuts, do it, but don't make them if I'm coming over. Okay? Just don't. What we're going to add to our garlic and herb is garlic. Again, we're getting in that garlic power. And then what I wanted to use, and you can honestly mix and match your favorites, but I wanted to use spices, herbs that I grew in my garden. So you don't need a lot of space to grow fresh herbs in your garden, and fresh herbs are a nutrient powerhouse. So dehydrated is a great way to preserve them. Yes, we're baking it, so some of the stuff gets lost, but not all of it. So let's not overthink it. All of this, friends, let's not overthink all of this. Let's just do some things with good ingredients because it's delicious and because it's replacing something we shouldn't be eating anyway. Because some of you did mention potato chips. Do you have a fave garlic brand? That was Frontier, I think. Frontier is where we often buy the spices. Also, Organic Matters is a great place to order bulk nuts and seeds, spices, herbs, a whole bunch of stuff online. So that's a Canadian option. Are you guys having fun? Is this fun? Are you like, I am glad I showed up today. This is a real sweet boost on the 2nd day of November or whenever you're watching the replay. Oh, always. Oh, thanks. And I loved seeing so many of our alumni here, which is, I keep playing with the idea of having a live event. And then I'm like, Megan, don't do that to yourself. Too much. Okay. So I'm going to add thyme. No, this is parsley. And I think I got a piece of grass in there. So that's definitely from my garden. A little bit of ground sage. Sage is such an easy thing to grow. It's so easy that it'll take up too much space. We've got some, let me look, because now I can't remember. I just went blank. You try doing this live and remembering everything. Oh yeah, chive powder. That's what was confusing me. So the recipe calls for onion powder, but I grew lots of chive. So we dehydrated it all, and that's what we're using for onion powder. And the last one I did thyme, parsley, say whatever, sage, thyme, parsley are the 3 green ones. Well, there was a 4th one. So now anyway, and the onion powder. That's what it is. We're all good. So that's, oh, and the salt. This is measured out, right? Okay. And then we're just adding, just want to make sure I didn't like go nuts with this. Okay. And then we're just going to mix in the dry herbs, right? Like that. That is it. So literally, if you didn't talk a mile a minute like I do, this is a 5-minute prep situation. Then you're going to bake it for 20 minutes, stopping after 10, just to, what's going on here? You're just going to wrestle some paper for a while. There we go. So you'll bake it at 350 for 10 minutes. And then you will just mix it around a bit and then bake it for another 10 minutes. So total 25 minutes from here to snack time. That's like the time it takes to bathe your child so that you're ready to snuggle in the evening with a nice little bowl of some of these savory goodies. Let's see. Will it reach? Will the cord reach? I hope you can see my socks now. Now, my friends, here is a fun fact. I used to teach cooking classes in this place so long ago that they didn't have phones with timers on them. So egg timers, friends, egg timers. Wait, I can't see where this is what happens. You're like, where is the thing? All right, 10 minutes, then we're going to flip them around. This is live cooking, friends, live cooking. Will we have time to finish it? Maybe not. We might have to fake it.
Megan, do you have time for just a couple of questions?
Yes.
A number of people have been asking about the nuts, and if you soak them, if you sprout them, if they're activated nuts, what do you recommend?
Yeah, as I said earlier, that is optimal. Soak and sprout your nuts, dehydrate them. If you're doing that though, I mean, you could totally season them and then do like a slow roast in your oven, like at 200 for like 1 to 2 hours, obviously keeping an eye on it. So that would save you that step of having to dehydrate them, toss them, and then bake them again. You could also do this in the dehydrator, keeping them at a low temperature. They won't be as crunchy, but they're going to have that beautiful flavor. So that is optimal for health. But also, like, if it's 7 p.m. and you're exhausted and you're like, I just want to open the tortilla chips, do this instead. And just, yeah. So not sprouting them and doing this is still better than anything that's going to come out of a package. That's the answer.
And one more question about the oil you used and why you chose avocado as opposed to olive oil or another type of oil.
I used avocado oil because it is stable at higher temperatures. I like it. We buy wildly expensive olive oil because most olive oil in the store is garbage. And I'm just finishing a book right now called Real Food, Fake Food, which is horrifying me even more. So we try and use olive oil when you're really going to taste it. And olive oil does have a lower smoke point, although that's now under debate. So everything changes, friends. Nutrition is always changing. So I try and simplify how I do things and the number of ingredients that I have. And so for things that go in the oven, typically like this, I use avocado oil. For the pumpkin spice ones, you should use coconut oil, would be a great option because then you get a little bit of sweetness from the coconut. I don't typically like savory things with the coconut. So that's what you get for that. We are going to move on to our final recipe. And I will tell you about the terrifying thing that happened to me this morning that has never happened to me in the kitchen before. The suspense killing you? I don't know why. It's a random thing that happened. So the apple, I pre-baked one because it takes an hour in the oven. And it was in the oven. And Jen said, do we put lemon juice and water in there? And I'm like, I didn't put the lemon juice and water in it. So like the bright light I am, I open the oven, pour the water in, and the Pyrex exploded. There was glass everywhere. Well, through the whole oven. I still have both my eyes. Jen's got both her eyes. all things considered, it was as we say to my son, ding, 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 learning opportunity. So that is the story. I have to see. Oh my gosh. Okay. So how we do this to make it official is that we go by what is the first comment on my chat, which I think there was an apple exploded. So that's not it. That's not quite it. The glass broke. Ashley, Graham, welcome to the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program. You were the first in my chat. Congratulations. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Brrr. How's this for a dance for you? Welcome. That is so exciting. And now you have all learned the lesson to not do something so foolish as pour room temperature water into a 350-degree glass dish. Never happened to me before. Hopefully never will again. So I have an apple. I started doing this without telling you what I was doing. Something that I love to do to core an apple instead of buying like an additional tool is I just, you know what, I'm going to give you this timer because I'm like Captain Hook with a ticking clock by me. So what I'm using is I just use an apple corer. I mean, not an apple corer, a melon baller to take out the core of the apple. Ding, ding, ding. Do I get a round of applause for this genius idea? So you don't need single tools. I love tools that have multiple creative functions. And that is what we have here. So I'm just getting all the seeds out. And that's it there. And I just need a cutting board. Oh, this one. I'll just put that waste here. Sorry, not a cutting board. I need a bowl to mix the topping in. All right, and a knife. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I will just pour that in there, a little bit of water, and then we will, perfect, yeah. Then we're just gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in. Just like that. All good. I'll put the rest in my water. All good. And then we're going to mix the topping that goes inside. So really simple. I'm making one. Your recipe's for 4. I'm going to, we're going to eat these after. And there's people in my house. It's so annoying. They don't like raisins. Are you a raisin person? I feel like there's a lot of things you could say are 2 types of people in this world. There's cilantro, no cilantro. Raisins, no raisins. Are you raisin people? I have too many no raisin people in my home. So I'm going to just chop up. You don't even really need to chop it up, but I'm using a little bit of unsweetened dried cranberries, or you can find apple juice sweetened, which is a little bit better than the sugar sweetened. I'm going to do a little bit of chopped walnuts in here. If there's a nut allergy, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds work great. You can also omit the seeds or nuts altogether. No big deal. I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon in, just like that. You really can't have too much cinnamon, let's be honest. And I'm going to put a little bit of fresh nutmeg. Is there a better smell on earth? I love the smell of fresh nutmeg. So nutmeg and cinnamon both have warming effects in the body, can help upregulate immune function, taste delicious, also have a natural sweetness to it. Now, if you're like a beginner around here, I will let you use honey or maple syrup in this mix. If you're like me and you don't eat sugar, right? Don't be like, well, there's sugar in an apple. I know there's sugar in an apple, but let's not be like that. So what I'm doing now, I'm just putting a little bit of a score around it so the apple has room to grow. And I don't need to add honey because this apple is sweet enough. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to fill this little hole right here with the goods, press it down, fill it up, and you will repeat this 4 times to make all 4 apples. And I feel like baked apples, I said baked apples like it's 1988. I feel like it's like a retro kind of thing. Bring it back. Bring it back. Wasn't everything better in the 80s? Maybe the 90s? I don't know. But oh, this is so delicious. And it makes your house smell so good when you're baking it. So we are going to take that. It will bake for 50 minutes. So we're just going to pretend I'm going to stick it right here. So let's see how our soup is doing. We'll clear this off and get that soup blended. And I will clear this off. I just touched some honey. And we're going to get that soup blended. Sandy, are there any other questions?
There was actually a question earlier about garlic and your honey garlic concoction. Is that something that you would ever make ahead? A question from Heather is wondering how long it would last if you mixed it all together.
Yeah, so as I said, so garlic, let me keep those here. So garlic has no, and if you could just grab the Vitamix, get that plugged in. Garlic has, I mean, ginger, do you understand that? Honey has no expiry, and it also makes a wonderful preservative. So you can chop up that garlic, mix it into the honey, and you're now preserving that garlic. Whoop, ding, ding, ding. Can you just, you stir it around, put it back in. We're on fire around here. So, okay. So that's the story. So yes, you can make it ahead. It's actually even better when you make it ahead. There's a biochemical reaction happens with the garlic when you chop it up and it gets exposed to oxygen, that it creates a new phytonutrient in it, which we talk about in the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program.
And do you have that remedy? Is that something you take on a daily basis or as needed?
I would do it more as needed. It's pretty powerful. Similar to like oil of oregano. That's not something I would take all the time. I think it's something you take when you're feeling like something's coming on. Let me remind you all that all of this that we've talked about today works a whole lot better when you're getting sufficient rest, when you're not consuming sugar and processed food, processed grains, refined grains, when you are getting out in the sun, when you are taking walks in nature, when you're finding time to down regulate, get into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, repair mode, when you can find that inner zen, that's where the magic happens. So our soup, we cooked just until we're good. We're all over the show. Just until the carrots are tender. You don't need to cook these things to death. I'm going to try not to burn myself here. This is real live action, folks. And as you can see, this is piping hot. I'm going to double check because I transported this, that everything is set down. And I am using a stainless steel Vitamix container. And you're like, what? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Vitamix. It's an investment, but I use it. So I wouldn't put soup this hot into a plastic blender. I would either wait till it cools or use an immersion blender, but I do not like immersion blenders. Why not? Because I don't think they get things smooth enough. Am I on my own there with that? Jen was like, do we need a bowl to pour the extra soup into? I'm like, no, it should fit. It doesn't fit, but we're just going to wing it here. And pour. I just need some of the liquid in here. That's what's happening. See my grace? Look at how graceful I am. One day you too can cook like me. Listen, friends, just because I've been doing it a long time, can't teach this dog new tricks, apparently. We're going to just put that into a safe zone there. We're also going to just do this. Listen, here's the story. If your recipes do not look like this and are dripping by the end of the show, you have not done your work. You have not done it. For all of my culinary nutrition students and alumni, this is how it's going to happen. It's going to happen like this for you too when you're teaching your classes. For those of you who want to join us next year, you don't have to do anything perfectly to be doing it, to be sharing knowledge, to be exciting other people and inspiring other people. All you have to do is have fun and you enjoy the process and they will enjoy the process. All right. So I'm just making sure everything's on low because we still want this to speed up slowly so that it does not explode. I don't think I added salt, but anyway, I'll just add salt to my own bowl when I eat it later. So a rule for blending soup. Anyone know what my rule is? Senies, alumni, you know what my rule is? Blending anything you want to be smooth. Don't forget to vent. Well, that too. Vent, yeah. Here's my vent. I can't believe it. Just kidding. That was the other kind of vent. No, it's to blend a little bit longer than you think to make sure that you're really getting something smooth if that's the texture you're going for. That's the culinary tip. So, oh my gosh, look at this beautifuliciousness. Thick, rich, so stacked. I didn't even talk about the health benefits of carrots, the beta carotene. Come on now. Every single ingredient in this soup carries power for your body. That is something. I realized I wasn't gonna have time for the coconut cream, so we're gonna just like Megan's just mixing in the coconut cream. So I encourage you to make that and add to it. You actually have a coconut cream recipe, not coconut, cashew cream. You have a cashew cream recipe at the end, a sweetened version to go with the apple. But again, you don't need to do the sweetened version to enjoy this. So how are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, we're running long. That's okay. I have one more question. I'm going to run this question. First of all, let me ask you, are you having fun? Are you feeling inspired? Maybe most importantly, what is one thing you are going to make that we have done in today's class? Yes, nuts, baked apples, honey and garlic, baked apples. Okay, everyone, thank you. And that's amazing. Really fantastic, amazing. I'm going to run one more poll. As I mentioned, friends, we are opening early bird registration for the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program in 2 weeks. It's only 4 days. That's where you get to maximize your $1,000 savings, take advantage of an 12-month payment plan with no extra fees. So that's the tuition cut up into payments. You'll get first access into our membership group when it opens. It's not even a membership group. We're calling it the Clubhouse. You heard it here first. It's going to be a hub where every month we're going to have live events from alumni, from people in the community, teaching, sharing, connecting. It will be your favorite place to hang out online. Plus, you get instant access to an everyday prevention workshop. So many reasons. So if you are interested or curious about what this program is, let me know if you would like to join next, well, it's 2 weeks, November 14th, our live online information session, and we will hook you up. Just click the button there in the poll and let us know, and we will add you to that list. No, thank you is also a suitable response. And if you just have a couple questions and you want to chat with Ashley, who's incredible, she's our student experience lead, she can help guide you. So while you finish up that poll, I'm going to taste our soup. You know, I'm not going to taste it. It's way too hot. I'll taste a little bit. I've had too many incidences today. I really want to leave with my taste buds intact. It's like warming and comforting with like a little bit of a kick and such rich flavor. And again, every ingredient counts. Now, the apple, as you know, needed a much longer time in the oven than we could do in our live class. Where's my apple? Oh, so we have our baked apple right here. And because you all know what happened, I'm not eating it because you know what? No amount of delicious home-baked apple is worth eating a shard of glass. Even though I did say I said to Jen, I'm like, well, I could just cut it open and eat from the bottom. I'm not going to do it today. So we are slicing this apple open. It didn't cook the full length because of that explosion, but let me just show you the inside of this. Can you look at, here's what's going to happen. I'm coming around, friends. I'm coming around. So look at, do you see this oozing center? Look at that. Look at that. You might think that that looks like something else that's inappropriate, but that's okay. That's okay. We're here for it. But that is what you get. And this was with no sweetener. And oh, it's the best dessert. And then you use that sweet cashew cream. So you've got the cashew cream. You leave out the maple syrup if you want to do a dollop in your soup. Add the maple syrup to add to your beautiful baked apple. Friends, it's happening. Let's bring out the nuts. Bring out the nuts. And again, all of these on their own, maybe 5 minutes prep, soup maybe 10 for chopping, some cooking time, and they're ready. Here, let's just put that there, and I'm going to not touch it. And here we have, try that. And here we have, oh my gosh, these smell so good. Now, Kelsey, I think Kelsey's here. Kelsey, I made these a couple weeks ago, and then Kelsey, who lives in Calgary, was here in Toronto, and I served them to the team at our meeting, and they were gone in no time. I might have actually been the one who ate them all, but there we have it. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. Just looking now, comments, the questions. So as live viewers, you're going to get a note to get your free gift, which is that full resilience masterclass. Congratulations to Ashley G, who won a spot in the honorary level of the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program. I see a bunch of you are going to be joining us for our info session in 2 weeks. For our alumni and students, how awesome is the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program? I'll let you throw that into the chat. Wink, wink. That's why you're here, right? Just kidding. These nuts are too hot to eat, but oh my gosh, they smell so good. They're going to be delicious. And there you have 3 wildly simple recipes for immune resilience. Okay. It's easy. It's delicious. It's beautiful. It resolves those cravings, and it helps you do the things you really want to do in life, which is to get out in the world, to find joy in our lives every single day. And that spark of joy you experience in the small moments, the spaces in between of your life, are also super fuel for the immune system. Our mind is part of the immune system. Our heart is part of the immune system. So surround yourself with people that fill your heart, fill your mind with the thoughts and the feelings that elevate you. Let's spiral up together, because we start here. We start with the food, and that starts to spark other questions and other ideas and other thoughts. And people get that tap on the shoulder to say, wait, why is this the way it is in the world? Why are things happening that way? What can I do to be a powerful part of a positive solution? So we start with the food and we spiral up together from there. I want to thank you all so much for joining me here today. I'm honored to have had so many of you show up live, taking the time out of your day. Thank you to everyone who watched the replay. Thank you for being part of the Academy of Culinary Nutrition. I hope to see you in our information session on November 15th. I hope to see you in our kitchen, our Culinary Nutrition kitchen, in September 2023. But in the meantime, we'll for sure be catching up in the new clubhouse launching in the new year. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now, everyone.